Imagine a rainstorm that doesn't stop for days. It's hammering against a fragile mud hut, turning the ground into a swamp. In traditional storytelling, a storm like this serves as a physical manifestation of a world built to crush you. Inside that hut is Thiru. His neighbors call him a manhus, a cursed pariah. He hasn't committed a crime, and he hasn't stolen anything. His only offense is being an orphan, a status that completely isolates him from the social protection of his village. The environment is perfectly calibrated to keep him trapped. The relentless moisture rots his roof and seeps into his meager savings, literally dissolving the paper money he earned through grueling labor. Stripped of his savings, Thiru has no choice but to beg the cruel local landlord, the talker, for manual labor. He trades his remaining independence to a man who openly exploits his desperation. The systemic cruelty here is absolute. Because Thiru has no family line, he has no safety net, no allies to defend him, and zero agency. The society around him views his suffering as the natural order of things. When the forces of nature and human society align so perfectly to keep a person pinned to the bottom, how does that person break the cycle? What specific action actually reverses a fate this bleak? Hard work and compliance have led Thiru to a leaking hut and a debt he cannot pay. For his trajectory to change, he will have to step outside the survival strategies the village expects of him. The disruption starts at the threshold of Thiru's home. Walking back from the fields, he finds two strangers, Raman and Janki, freezing under a tree as the storm rages around them. The outside world has given Thiru nothing but cruelty, but he actively refuses to mirror that hostility. He invites the stranded travelers inside his leaking hut. This choice activates a powerful cultural principle, Atiti Devo Bhava, which translates directly to the guest is equivalent to God. By treating these strangers with absolute reverence, Thiru establishes a new set of rules for his interior space. A sharp spatial divide suddenly opens up. Outside, every interaction is cold, transactional, and designed to extract value. Inside, the space becomes a sanctuary where meager resources are freely shared. This chart visualizes the competing strategies. Left, the landlord's exploitation model, a closed loop of isolated power. Right, Thiru's empathy model, an expanding network of shared resources. This illuminated node pushes back against the hostile perimeter, building a perfect micro-society. Within these walls, Thiru has successfully established a micro-society based on mutual support. This sanctuary operates as a direct challenge to the landlord's monopoly on resources. Next morning, reality hits hard. In the driving monsoon rain, a weakened Thiru struggles through thick sludge, hauling heavy sacks for the landlord. Exhausted by the labor, his grip slips. A single sack falls into the water, ruining the grain. The cruel talker immediately seizes the moment, demanding an impossible penalty. Thiru must repay 3 times the value, or he will face total, absolute ruin. The narrative purpose of this impossible debt is to bring the external conflict to its breaking point. It represents the oppressive system's final, crushing victory over an isolated individual. Radical empathy appears to have been a useless defense. Thiru heads home physically broken, financially wiped out, and he is completely devoid of hope. He returns to the sanctuary of his home and collapses in despair, detailing the talker's cruelty to his wife. But Raman, the guest, overhears from the next room. In this moment, the boundary between stranger and family completely dissolves. Raman steps forward and drops a fortune in cash. He reveals he is actually a wealthy city merchant. Using his own vast resources, he instantly covers the impossible debt, neutralizing the talker's leverage in seconds. This bar chart illustrates exactly how the narrative mechanics of this rescue work. A tiny investment in internal empathy triggers a massive, disproportionate spike in external capital. The emotional kindness cultivated inside the house literally purchased physical salvation from the outside threat. Then comes the final crucial twist. Thiru's wife gives him a new shirt. As he puts it on, Raman spots a distinct birthmark on Thiru's neck,
a perfect match to his own. The wealthy merchant and the cursed pariah are long-lost brothers. This specific reveal perfectly satisfies the arc of the story. Dhiru's original social crime, the reason the village treated him as an outcast, was that he lacked a family line. The hospitality Dhiru offered to two nameless travelers ended up being the mechanism that reunited him with his brother. By treating strangers like family, he solved the very problem, his status as an orphan, that the village used to define him. In traditional folktales, radical empathy operates as a profound strategic mechanism for rewriting destiny, proving that true salvation stems entirely from human connection, rather than the hoarding of power.